Today I'm going to tell you guys about some other music stuff that I've been into for a long time. Basically, this entire week, the way I'm going to structure my channel now is going to be each week has a different theme. And this week is music. It's like music career, that kind of stuff. The next week will be something else, and something else, something else, something else. With today's video, I'm going to talk about when did I start in music, what happened, and kind of like foreshadow what actually went down and why I haven't really been in it recently. So, back in 4th or 5th grade, I had my first like music class and stuff like that. We were given like instruments, stuff like that, and the teachers were like, "Oh, he's really good in this and this," and they told my parents that he's really good at playing and keeping time. You should put him in some like lessons. And I showed interest that I wanted to do that. When I went into 6th grade, that's the first time it was an actual group, I guess. I was in orchestra for 6th, 7th, and 8th. That was the first instrument that I really learned, which was violin. And I stayed with it till 8th grade, but then I kind of left it and went for marching band and percussion in high school. I was trying to be a trumpet player, but I couldn't do the whole thing with someone looking at me. I would laugh because they would laugh at me and I'd laugh right back. So when I went to high school, I was in marching band for the entire time, basically, from 9th grade to the entire time, as well as I was in concert band and I was in choir as well. So choir, I wasn't really ever any leads or anything. I was a tenor, is what they call it. And yeah, marching band, I started out as a bass drum player, one of the line bass drum players, and then I moved to percussion. And yeah, I basically became section leader of that, and I was that throughout high school. I also did color guard later on, but I don't consider that part of music. It is, but it isn't. But I did integral color guard. With marching band, I played mostly marimba and xylophone and vibraphone, which is all the little mallet instruments. In concert band, we would have to play everything and anything, timpani, everything, all of it. The one thing I loved about marching band and indoor band and drumline, all that, was that we got to go a lot of places. Like, we had to go to a lot of high schools. We competed. It was always like a competition with other schools. Like, oh, we're gonna beat you today, or I knew friends from different places. But I did enjoy it because it was always like there was still this community, even though we were competing against each other. Like, we enjoyed watching each other's shows, and we enjoyed watching what other people had learned from their teachers. As you guys know from yesterday's video, I did try out for American Idol when I was in 9th grade, and it went good. It went really great. I tried out for American Idol and America's Got Talent a few more times, 9th, 10th. I didn't go in 11th grade because I gave it up by that time. And basically, I went to school for music in community college after high school. My entire plan was to become a music education teacher. But what happened in the long run was that I went to community college for 2 years, and I became there was all these different things. Like, I came to a club of this, I was in different classes, music, blah, 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 blah. But eventually, I graduated there with a high GPA. And then I went to college and then I was trying to get into 4-year colleges, Virginia Tech, JMU, and Shenandoah, for music education. But the songs that I chose were not what they were looking for. Especially when you're competing against other people that have these big families and they pay for their tuition, they pay for everything. It's kind of hard to go against them. The biggest mistake I made when that happened, when I didn't get into schools, a lot of schools that I did get into were saying like you could come learn, you know, general education stuff like that at our school, but you can't be in the music program, which is what I should have did in the long run, but I didn't. So it kind of, I basically took a 2-3 year hiatus, and I didn't go to school for a long time. I've always had this weird feeling whenever I work for someone else where like I just don't feel right. Like I feel like I'm being talked down to, or I feel like I'm being used. That's why I went into going into music, because you can express yourself with it and stuff like that. But basically, that's kind of how my music progression went. After that, I started to, you know, sell things, because I didn't think music was going to go anywhere. I tried to even compose different songs. I kind of tried to put out an album. Nothing ever happened to it. But I also always wondered, was it because I wasn't good, or was it because, you know, it wasn't the right time, or because I didn't do the right things? Because now I hear people all the time, and I'm like, I still think I'm a little bit better than that person. But that might be ego too. There is a thing where I might return to music one day, but it's still on the back burner. And the thing is I love to create music, but the problem with it is you can't make a lot of money from it unless you're, you know, you have a lot of backup, like a lot of support around it. The biggest thing that I would want to do is to live out a life that I can be remembered, and that's always been my goal the entire time, to be remembered by a lot of people. And I don't even care if I'm remembered for something bad, or, well, let me rephrase that. I don't want to be remembered for like being a terrorist or anything like that. But if I'm remembered for a meme song or something like that, I'd be fine with it. Long as I go down as, oh, he's the person that created this, and he'll always be remembered, and people will always talk about him. Because I feel like that's kind of what you're here for this earth. Like, you want to be remembered by a bunch of people, or you want to make some kind of impactful change. So basically, that's what happened with my music career. Like I said, I might return eventually. The biggest problem is, like I said, making money from it, because you have to pay bills, stuff like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to subscribe, comment,